Hello, Radioheads. You know this is El Man. I'm here with author and creator, writer Scott Kraynak, and we're going to talk about his book, Amen, today. That's what we're going to focus on today. So, hi, welcome to It Came from the Radio.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
So far. Okay. So, you said in another podcast that 49% of people will hate the book. Why? Or they might hate the book. Why might they hate it?
That's my
Controversy.
that's my estimated number of people that voted for Trump.
Okay, got it. And now we'll go, do you have any haters? And if so, how do you deal with them?
Um, we got what was some people would consider as a negative review. I was just
Okay.
searching the internet, and it was the person described himself as a conservative Clark Kent, and reading some of his other things, he definitely does not share my beliefs. And so the negative things he wrote about the book, I found I was very pleased with.
Can we
But
hear you?
the majority of people really like it. It's been well received. And
Let's hear one positive thing you've heard about your book, and then also one negative, because we can learn from the positive and the negative. I like to learn from everybody.
the negative one from that one guy was uh I was called leftist trash,
Oh,
which
okay.
made me which made me smile. And then
Hmm.
just to paraphrase the most of the positive reviews, it was more so good to in comic form illustrate what's going on in our politics and in our country, in terms of,
Hmm.
in my opinion, how many people are being treated, immigrants, gay and lesbian people of color. And it's I'm a pretty political person. I have my beliefs, but the most of the people that have reviewed that book really like it, and glad that we did it. And I mean, how could you say nice things about people like Joel Osteen and pedophile priests? I mean, how can you defend people like that? So
Yeah, Joel Osteen, just a real quick aside on that. There was all this money found in a wall or in the bathroom. Did you hear about this? There was a crazy scandal. I think someone working in the bathroom found all this money in a wall. This was within the year. And I don't know what came to come of it, but like was maybe he was hiding money in a wall.
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, very.
And
Well, back to you. Okay, so many people want to create their own comic book. What told you, I can do this? I can do this, and I'm going to go ahead and forge through it and make the sacrifices. What gave you the confidence?
for this one book,
Yeah, for this one specifically, sure. Or actually, you
um,
know what? To do your first one. Let's say it's your first comic book.
well, I guess a good answer to all the books I've done is luckily I'm from Cleveland, and Cleveland has a great art scene, and is
Hmm.
really has I mean, you could say Superman was born in Cleveland, because
Hmm.
that's where it was invented. And there's a lot of comic history in Cleveland, and I've gotten to know a lot of artists. And it's a very supportive community. So just growing up, in Cleveland, taking art classes at the Cleveland Museum of Art, I was kind of surrounded by art at a young age. And I don't know. I don't know what initially made me think, oh, I could do this. I guess it's
Yeah.
just say, hey, just go for it. The first book I did was with my brother, called Animal Crackers. And I'm a park ranger. My regular job, I'm a park ranger.
Oh,
And
cool.
so I'm also environmentalist, and Amen touches on environmental issues too. But Animal Crackers is a children's book for adults, and it's animals doing bad things to people, what we do to them. So for instance, manatees are riding on jet skis, and they're speeding through the water, slicing up humans. um,
Wow.
Bison are in trains, and they're shooting settlers on the range. Wolves are in helicopters shooting down. So, and my brother wrote it. It rhymes like a Dr. Seuss book. So I guess being mad and upset at certain things in the world, and this is my way of, I don't know, protesting,
Hmm.
venting my anger, venting frustration at things that are going on in the world.
Hmm.
through art, through books. So it's better than, with guns. So
I'm going to come back to this topic. I like to skip around a
yeah,
little bit. I like to mix it up for the ADD in me. I don't even know. I wouldn't call
no,
myself ADD. I'm
I'm right
actually
with
very
you.
focused, but I like to keep things mixed up because variety is the spice of life. And to have a healthy diet is probably best to mix up your diet. But we won't do diet today. Okay. So
Yeah.
every time I say yes to something, I'm saying no to something else. Every time we say yes to any opportunity, we're saying no to something else. You say yes to one husband, wife, you're going to say no to someone else. So what parts of your life received less attention during the creation process, and what sacrifices were made during the creation process
Oh,
of Amen? Because you said I think it was a 2-year process to do this.
yeah, yeah. Getting a lot of artists together. It's like herding cats.
Hmm.
Um,
They scratch you?
um, a healthy amount of sleep.
Okay, so
That
less sleep.
definitely takes a back seat. Um, I've gotten into the habit of drinking wine while I work on art, so I probably drink too much wine.
I've
And
heard
to
mixed
be
things
honest,
on that. With
yeah,
writers, a lot of writers I feel like can be sort of successful drinking. And I'm not really pro drinking, but I feel like it can work. But not in the execution, like the interview part. Maybe not. That
yeah,
depends.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. Like Bukowski, like a lot of the people that I admire were heavy drinkers, and
Hmm.
they kind of led reckless lives. So I'm getting healthier, but um, I can't
Well,
do
it
hangovers
helps.
for work in the morning anymore.
Oh no, hangover. No, but I guess I'll have this almost when I think about doing a task, sometimes almost like my tongue will get numb and I get what's called anticipation anxiety
Mhm.
before writing, before even getting this together, once I get in the flow. So I think alcohol, the few times I've drank while writing my health guidebook, it was like it helped get past that anxiety writer's block, that perfectionism, and then you can go
Right.
into the flow. That's one positive thing of drinking while writing.
Well, you're into so many things. I mean, and that's another thing. The busier I get, the more projects I have. I'm working on 3 books now,
Hmm.
um, and a full time job, and relationships. You just you, it gets so busy. The alcohol doesn't help. And in the past, to answer your question, probably I probably what took a back seat was also relationships. I mean, I've probably put art ahead of girlfriends in the past,
Hmm.
and wasn't the right thing to do. I could have managed my time better. I try to do better now. I think I
Well,
do.
here's an idea I've thought of and I've kind of done with my significant or insignificant others. No, the last few years they've been significant, but it's like I have this nice ambiance here, and sometimes I have to write or meal prep. I do meal prep like I'm cooking for
Me too.
some type of god or royalty. It's really just me. You're the
Yeah,
significant other. So here's an idea. Invite whoever you're seeing to do their work when you're doing their work, and you can like take breaks every hour or so together, and at least you have company. Like I have my dog here
yeah,
right now.
we do.
So that's an
I'm
idea.
at my girlfriend's house right now. She's not
Oh,
home,
perfect.
and so we do that. You're
Right.
exactly right. She's a teacher, and so she works on her stuff, and I'll work on books, and yeah, it's works out well.
So now switching to the next gear. A lot of
Yeah.
gears here. I didn't know that videos had
All
gears. I
right.
thought just bikes and so what's your biggest mistake? Clearly I like to learn from mistakes. Yeah, I wouldn't consider myself
Wow.
super negative, but while you're either writing or editing or casting, what are some mistakes you're like, I shouldn't have gotten this person involved or I shouldn't have done this thing? And what maybe it's something that someone can learn from.
Boy, that's a good question. Um,
Well,
hmm. Biggest mistake.
or one of the biggest. It's hard to, you know, put like a hierarchy on our work.
Um, the one thing that sticks out right now, and I guess it's not that big of a mistake, but for back to animal crackers, back to the first
Mhm.
book, me and my brother used a term that I wish we didn't use in the book.
Well,
The I don't want to say it.
okay.
The R word describing a disabled person.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
so I look back and that's an ignorant thing to say. And the book, though it has swear words in it, I almost swore, by the way. I almost just swore, but my filter is working. Um, the word there's swear words in it because it's a children's book for adults, but
Right.
the images have been used in classes. Like the images, like there's bluefin tuna pulling up a net with humans, and
Wow,
bluefin
that's
tuna
cool.
eating human sushi because bluefin tuna. I love sushi, but bluefin tuna should not be eaten. They're so endangered. They're
Yeah, right. I've heard of this.
um, but classes have used it and teachers have read the book. And actually, there's when I worked at the Grand Canyon, I did a lot of art in Vegas, and a class that got the book that I gave the book to, the kids created their own environmental book inspired by animal crackers, which is maybe the coolest thing
Yeah.
to happen. But I know they read that word, and I just wish
Right,
I
right.
used it, you know?
Well, you know what? I mean, to make you feel better, at certain times, a place like my dad's was it my dad's dad, my grandpa's brother was they used to I don't know, I'll use the word retarded, okay? A version of
Yeah,
it. And that was the word that you used back then. And it didn't
right.
have, I mean, I guess it had stigma, but it wasn't what it is now. So words evolve and
Yeah.
maybe you can just say, they weren't around when other people were around at a time. It was okay. So I think it's the worst personally.
It wasn't okay at that time.
But it wasn't as bad as it was now. And it was normalized. It
Okay.
was
Okay.
normalized. We'll say that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on to things that can trigger people. So you know, uh, the Trump administration was part of the motivation to write Amen, right?
Hmm.
Okay,
And
so
environmental things, social issues, but
socially,
Trump brought
okay.
it to the
So
forefront. Yeah.
he announced that he's running again. I believe he's been active, and I actually haven't really paid attention, but I heard from a well-known Trump impersonator that he is running, and a lot of people think he's going to be president in 2024. So, would that trigger you to create a follow-up to Amen?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not just him. It's just
I
not
know.
not just Trump. I mean, there's bad, horrible stuff in these. I mean, it goes to evangelical Christians. It goes
Hmm.
of the power that organized religion has, neo Nazis, um, Wall Street. I mean,
Right.
all this bad stuff is not going to go away whether Trump is president or not. It's there. It's and so you don't need just one piece of crap to do a follow up, and we probably will. I need to contact the artist, but
Hmm.
there's definitely plans to do further issues. It's not just going to be a one off. We want to do more.
Audiobook, maybe.
Pardon me?
I would love to listen to it as an audiobook. I think that would be so fun, or as like a narration. That could be
Yeah.
really cool, a radio play, whatever you want to call it. But I would love to just put that on, do my chores, and listen to this in the background. We're going to do that for Mark Torres's book. I suggested that, and he's running
Oh,
with it.
cool.
He's going to turn his comic into something you can listen to and watch
But
and bring it to life.
wouldn't it take away some not being able to see
Well,
the art?
of course, but
Yeah.
you also the art, the comic book does lacks the voice. So everything,
Right.
every medium, I guess, is lacking in some way. But I want to hear a voice, and then
Okay.
you,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so
But
let's go to the
definitely, I
next.
think so.
So you have a character here. I thought this was really interesting. I was just telling my dad about the cardinal. Cardinal, can you just explain? You'll do a better job than me. What is this cardinal, and how
Well,
did this come about?
that was like the one character that, kind of had some good in it. Like, I'm not a
Okay.
religious person. I do not like very much at all organized religion, but I'm not 100% like 100% against it because I know there's some people that go to church and they
Mm-hmm.
truly live the life. Like they
Mm-hmm.
truly live what Jesus taught. Like they're good people.
Right.
So
Yeah, there's a
if
lot of
you meet,
benefits,
yeah,
but
if
I'm
you
kind
meet
of
a
anti
religion,
too.
so that's kind of cardinals. you know, in the comic, he's a good person. He has a pet cardinal. He's a kind of a tree hugger. So I guess that was just like some sliver of hope in humanity, that character, because the rest are just horrible. They're just horrible characters. So that was maybe one, like an example of the good still out there,
Hmm.
because there is a lot of
Hmm.
good out there. It's just
Hmm.
maybe I tend to focus on the negative sometimes too much. I don't know.
Well, when it comes to organized religion, I definitely will focus on the negative, but my eyes have been opened, I guess, in the last few years. My mom she's Jewish. Health is my religion, simply put.
Mhm.
Respect, I would say, like
Nice,
Scarface,
nice.
respect is my religion,
Right,
right?
right.
But I think it really benefits her because it gives her a friend group or a place of
Mhm.
belonging, and not me, right now, but some people need somewhere to go, or else they're going to be like lost and ether or lonely. So it's like, if you guys
Right.
have to build chuppahs or I don't know, whatever takamami stuff they're doing, then enjoy, It's not a
Yeah.
curse word, Mark Torres, cockamamie, okay? Um, okay, so we have a couple of minutes left. Anything that's on your mind you'd like to share with society? Any thoughts
Any
or topics?
thoughts? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
just a free for all. I'll let you be the
Um,
host for once.
oh my gosh. Okay. As the host of this, as it
Yeah.
as the host of It Came from the Radio, what are some future projects that you're working on right now?
Okay.
What's future projects are you working on that you're excited about?
Well, I'm always adding to my health guidebook. That's a work for life. I started writing this in 2010-ish for health counseling clients, and I keep adding recipes. So I have a list of like these healthy cakes, and I was like, wait a second, why don't I make just a one blender recipe, like a one pot soup, a one blender cake recipe? So that's something I have for client of mine, so she can eat these cakes and feel great. And a music video I was in is dropping tonight at midnight, shot in October, and I
Oh,
gotta say it's really cool. And I got like maybe 10 very little outlines for satire parody songs. So getting into parody music is something I have to do before I die, and crazy music videos with some things, with messages like
yeah,
well, some would be nonsense. I'll sing you what I came up with last night. That's very low. This one's very low on the list. So no one's gonna hear this one for a while. All right. It's about Margaritaville because I think Jimmy Buffett is very
yeah,
funny,
yeah,
and Margaritaville is very funny. So like like okay, wait, what's the date? Left my wife. Okay. I left my Jesus, why am I doing this? I left my wife in Margaritaville. I told her you be still, and I married on my way. I left my wife in Margaritaville. I told her you be still. Okay. And then another one is
nice.
I sang to my boyfriend because he's like, anything I say right now, it's off the record. It doesn't count. We'll go back to you a sec. That doesn't count. And he's like, I'm off the record. I said, okay, sure. You're not liable for anything. Just don't break anything. Especially, don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. Don't break my heart. That might be a song I'm working on. So I'm all over the place with the creativity. But yeah, back to you. What do you say are some top three focuses for your year now that you've had a respite? This is out, and like, what's next?
So yeah, what I was gonna say is I'm gonna be back at New York Comic Con this year, so I will be
Okay,
back
cool.
in your wonderful city. One book I'm working on is this crazy fictional history of women's bowling, where
Oh,
it's going to go from prehistoric times to modern day and talk about. It's going to be a combination of comics, erotic photography, essays, all kinds of illustrations and paintings about how women's bowling was such an influence in pop culture and the
wow.
civil rights movement and the LGBTQ movement. It's going to be
Wow.
crazy. Obviously, that's not true, but growing up as a bowler, that's how
Oh,
cool
it's
I
not had
am.
nothing to do with women's rights.
No, it has absolutely
I don't
nothing.
know. I don't know everything
No.
history. Because I have a friend who's a big bowler and she's very artsy. One of my best friends, and back to erotic with it. Would that be like erotic bowling? Would that be like a really big yoni egg? The yoni egg? that women put inside themselves? The
Could
bowling
be.
ball
I've
size
already done
yoni
some
egg.
shots with some models at a bowling alley, and I'm putting them
Wow.
with vintage ads. It's just going to be out there, and I'm doing a second Cleveland Heart of Cleveland book, which is a celebration of all the art and artists from and inspired by Cleveland, and so that's a big one. That's going to be a big project.
And
So those are the two big ones.
I guess I'll make this my last question. And any plans to turn this into, maybe you've done it already and I missed it, animation? I mean, this one, the A-Man animated. Mark was like, "Ah, this reminds me of you. I got to pick this up for you." So that's why I have a copy of this because
Yeah.
Mark kind of knows me well. I think
Yeah, Mark
animated,
loved it. That was the first
well,
thing he said. He said, "You would love it."
yeah.
I think it would be sweet. I have no idea how to
Hmm.
go about that. I have no idea how to
Find an animator.
start that, but I would love,
Yeah,
if anybody's listening, I would love to work with them because it'd be totally like a Family Guy, Rick and Morty type thing. I mean, it's
yeah.
so inappropriate, and
Hmm.
they could go on so many inappropriate missions and stuff. Oh my gosh, I think people at New York Comic Con last year suggested it. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know how to. I barely could keep my project straight, you know. But
I'll
yeah,
give
that
you
would be
this.
sweet.
Here's an unsolicited idea, not a suggestion. So
Okay.
the animation that could be expensive and it could be really tedious. And I have a friend who animates a cartoon, There Goes the Neighborhood. It's hilarious and it's very tedious and talk about sacrifice. But the idea I gave Mark, which I'm sharing now, and this is what I would do if I had any type of book. I would have different voice actors, some voice actors can play two characters, and just on Zoom, everyone comes in and just reads the book out loud. So it puts audio to it, so it becomes like something you can
Huh.
listen to, and then it brings it to life. And then obviously the next step would have the animations. But yeah, I don't have a solution for the visuals, but that just having actors or friends who read well on a Zoom call
Yeah.
and record it can bring your book to life. And yeah, I'm just pushing you to do it because I want to listen to it. I want to listen to this book
Okay.
on tape. So,
Okay.
keep
Well, I
suggesting
hope we.
that until it's done.
Okay. Keep on me about that, and I hope we stay in touch. And maybe if we do this again, I'll have some progress to report on that.
Yeah, you could even, I mean, if let's say you wanted to do it tomorrow, let's just say you're like, I want to try it. You just get like your three friends and everyone does different voices and it could be
Yeah.
absolutely bizarre, but you'll have at least something where you can listen to and then it makes you feel like this is what we did before shooting the movie Renters. We did this for a few films, but we did two Zoom table reads. All the actors read the entire film, and then we went to New Jersey and actually shot the movie. And it's like I already had a feel and I listened to the whole movie a few times before going down there. I'm like, oh, this is what it's gonna sound like. And I get into the vibe and the character, help me memorize it. So it's pretty cool. And it's a cool little
Huh.
tip too if you want to see if something is viable, something written is viable for a movie, listening to
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Hmm. I like that idea. I like it a lot.
So 6:55, social media time. Where can we find you?
Instagram and Facebook.
And it would be the names are.
Just Scott Kraynak for Facebook, and I think it's
Okay.
reversed for Instagram, Kraynak Scott.
Kraynak Scott. All right,
Yeah.
perfect.
And a lot of
And
my work's
website?
on there. Ooh, that's a long one. clevelandranger.wixsite.com/my site.
All right. And on a
Needs
final
to be
note,
updated.
I thought of becoming a park ranger and I
Yeah.
don't know if it'll happen, but yeah, I heard it's a really great, enjoyable job and you get benefits and you're outside. So yeah, I gave it some thought.
It's cool. Now you get, I was seasonal for like 10 years, moving around every 6 months. Now I get benefits because I'm a permanent employee. But yeah, it's great. I can't, I'm really lucky I fell into that career. So
Really cool. Yeah, I just wanted their thoughts on that because I don't know too many park rangers. I don't think I know any. So on that note, we'll wrap up the interview. And now back to more. It came from the radio.